Flasking
So for each denture, you're looking at around 7 to 10 mils of liquid. The smaller the denture, obviously, the less you need.
Okay.
So some partials you could do with a couple of mils.
Yeah.
Now when you mix it, you have to mix it like sand. So it can't be runny.
Yeah.
If you read the instructions, specific instructions on quantities.
Yeah. So this acrylic here is different from the one that's used to repair
Yes.
things. Yeah.
That's
so
QR.
yeah.
Which means so heat QR. We're gonna boil it. You're gonna boil in a really hot water.
Yes.
It's like 100 degrees.
And that liquid that we used to mix the acrylic, I'm actually going to use it to wipe over these teeth.
Oh.
Again, we do that because if there's any residue on those teeth, they won't bond to the acrylic, and then you'll have patients wearing their dentures wondering why their teeth keep popping off their dentures.
Yeah.
We just get the liquid and make sure that these teeth are perfectly clean.
Interesting.
And also, it gets off any of that excess sodium alginate. So if it pulled in between the teeth or anything like that, you can use your little cotton bud to just make sure that they're all nice and clean. So your acrylic will normally take, I don't know, 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah.
To see how it's starting to get harder
Yeah.
and bond.
Yeah.
So we're going to give that another few minutes.
At what? How do you know when it's
It'll get to the stage where it'll separate from the bowl pretty easily, so it won't be stringy.
Okay.
It'll be what we call snappy.
Yeah.
So it'll get to a dough-like stage.
Yeah. Okay.
And it'll be very snappy. So
I'll repeat that for the video. The hotter the temperature, the quicker it will set. So it can depend on the weather.
So you're going to make sure your hands are very clean. Any oil, any wax or anything on your hands will transfer onto the acrylic.
Okay, yeah. So, so you do it with just bare hands?
I do. Look, a lot of people will use gloves because they don't like them.
Okay.
The monomer getting on their hands. I do a bit of both sometimes.
It out.
So I'm stretching it and I'm mixing it because do you see how if you look, it gets a grainy sort of colour?
Yeah.
So I'm trying to get rid of a lot of the streakiness. So
yes.
by mixing it, it should be more even.
Yeah.
So that's the idea. But it's still a little bit soft. So what I need it to be, see how when I do that, it stretches?
Yeah.
I should be able to snap it. So I'll have to leave it a little bit longer. Because if you put it in here too early, it will disintegrate the separating solution. Because the monomer will attack the separating solution. And then you'll end up with a really dirty, your denture will come out dirty. So it'll come out with plaster all over it.
Yeah.
And that you don't want either because that's very hard to get off too.
Yeah. Yeah.
The more plaster, the more stone. Separating sheets because you don't want... You want to be able to pack this and then you want to be able to check it. So you want to be able to open it again. If you don't have those packing sheets in there, the two halves will stick together again. You won't be able to get them back open. So, still a little bit, but see how...
Getting there, yeah.
Yeah. So I'll probably pack it about now. So you put in probably a bit more than you think you need.
Yeah.
We put the packing sheet in the middle. We shut her up. And into the machine we go. Now, at my other work, we have a hand one. So you literally just use your hands until you can't use your hands anymore. Because I'm pretty sure I couldn't get 200 pounds of pressure with just my hands. So you want this excess so that you know that there's enough in there.
Okay.
Because if you don't put enough in to your flask, what happens is you end up with holes all the way through your acrylic.
Yeah.
I've had that happen many times.
Can you fill those holes in with this?
Nope.
Again?
No, once it's processed, that's it. You then have to cut it away and fill it with the self-cure, so the stuff that you use to do the repairs and everything. So I'll check that now.
So that just for a minute or so.
Yep. I'll pull it back apart. So what this is called flash. So this is the excess that squeezes out that you don't need. Now we've got to get rid of this because we don't want to have that expand and then it be too high and then it won't fit in the patient. So you've got to make sure that you get rid of all of the excess.
Yep.
Now what we normally do is we always tend to pack it twice just so we can make sure and we're positive that there's enough in there. And what should happen once you pack it twice is see how this is starting to look grainy now?
Yeah.
Because we've taken the pressure off it. So the next time we pack this, when I first take it apart, this should be nice and shiny. And that's when we know we've got enough in there and it's packed in properly. Same again. Yeah, we might be able to get a little bit more, but not a lot. So that's about it.
Oh yeah.
See how that's now nice and shiny?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that tells me that there's plenty of acrylic in there and it's packed nicely.
Yeah.
And the longer I leave it out, it'll go back to being dull
Oh, okay.
because it's not under pressure.
Yeah.
So we're happy with that. We take the sheet out now and it goes back in the clean.
So it's continuously expanding.
Yes.
It's
So that's why we have to keep putting it under pressure so that it doesn't expand. The old-fashioned one. And now we process it. So now that has to go into a tank of boiling water.
If say it wasn't available, you can leave this here for.
No.
No.
No. The longer you leave that out, it will get porosity.
Okay.
So the boiling water and the pressure stop the porosity happening, but if you leave that sitting out, it will get porosity.
Right.
You get it straight into some water. Some acrylics are a bit different to process than others. Some like you to start from a cold pot
Yeah.
and bring it up to temperature over an hour.
Yeah.
And then you would boil it for another half an hour. Some you can put into a 70-degree tank and boil it for 20 minutes.
Okay. Yeah.
So it just depends what sort of acrylic you buy as to the curing time.
Cool.